The Pittsburgh Steelers have signed wide receiver Van Jefferson and have also re-signed Montravius Adams. So the Pittsburgh Steelers are not done yet making moves. They needed a wide receiver and they finally get one to sign. Van Jefferson, who formerly played for the Los Angeles Rams, is now coming to the Steelers. If you remember, Steelers went out and traded for a Rams wide receiver last season in Allen Robinson, but now they get a former Ram once again this season in Van Jefferson. Also, like I said, the Steelers needed a defensive lineman, and they go out and re-sign one of their own in Montravius Adams. Montravius Adams has not been one of those players that are just a standout player, but he has been a rotationary piece for the center of the Steelers defense to fill in at nose tackle whenever someone gets injured or just in rotation when people get tired. His main specialty is stopping the run, but he could also stuff the pass and create some pass rush as well. So Montravius Adams is back, but let's talk a little bit about Van Jefferson first before we get more into Montravius Adams later in the video. But first, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn notifications so you can get notified whenever the Pittsburgh Steelers sign someone else. Let's get right back into it. So, Van Jefferson, he was drafted in the 2020 NFL Draft in the second round, and in his career in total, he has 113 receptions for 1,600 yards and 10 touchdowns. He has played in 61 games. So, he comes in and he's still a very young wide receiver, but he has a lot of production as well for the limited receptions that he's had. Having 1,600 yards on 113 receptions, that's really good. And he's always been on a team where there's wide receivers ahead of him. That's why he can never really have the production in terms of a second round pick value because of the players that were ahead of him. You look at the Los Angeles Rams and Cooper Kupp, at one point, he was almost breaking the record in receptions for a player. He almost broke that record many times. So if he's out here getting 150, 140 receptions, then how is a different player going to get as many receptions? But he did his job solid. He was always a solid player, and right now, he's 27 years old. He was also on the Atlanta Falcons, but he comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and there's an opening. There's really only one or two wide receivers that are going to be ahead of Van Jefferson as of right now. For sure, it's going to be George Pickens, and then I would think as well it would be Calvin Austin, but who knows how they would use Calvin Austin in this offense. Will he be the slot? Will he be an outside receiver? Or will he be a backup like how they used him last season, mainly on special teams? But Van Jefferson, he comes in, and he's going to be given more of an opportunity here than he has gotten on any other team that he's been on. One of the reasons why he was linked to the Steelers and the Pittsburgh Steelers probably ended up signing him was because of a link that he had with the Atlanta Falcons head coach last season. Who was the head coach of Atlanta? Arthur Smith. And now who's the offense coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Arthur Smith. So he was traded to the Falcons last year for a 2025 pick swap, and the Falcons received a 2025 7th round pick, and the Rams received a 6th round pick in 2025. So obviously, Arthur Smith, who was his offense coordinator, he really liked what he could bring to the offense. He saw that he would create some value for the team, and I guess that's the reason why the Pittsburgh Steelers went out and signed him over some of the other wide receivers still available. There's still many other receivers available in the open market, like Tyler Boyd, who's been heavily linked to the Pittsburgh Steelers. One I like, and I think they should target, is Mike Williams if the price is right, but there's many others as well, and the Steelers are still in need of wide receiver. Just because they signed Van Jefferson does not mean that they're done at the wide receiver position, or they should not be, at least. As of right now, they really don't have any wide receivers under contract. They really only have proven wide receiver is Pickens, and then Van Jefferson and Calvin Austin. Other than that, on the roster, they have Marquise Callaway, but he's really just a reserve training camp contract, I would think so, or maybe even a practice squad type of player at this point. Under Arthur Smith, in last season, Van Jefferson started 5 games, and he played 12 games total. He finished with 12 receptions on 28 targets for 101 yards. So his production in Atlanta wasn't that great, but I guess Arthur Smith liked him enough to bring him back once again on his team, now the Pittsburgh Steelers. Looking at where Van Jefferson will line up for the Steelers, just looking through his career, according to PFF's charting, he has played about 40% of his snaps in the slot in his career and about 60% out wide. That means that the Pittsburgh Steelers, they could really slot him in anywhere because he has those reps at either or, outside or inside. They also don't have him charted as having any special teams reps. Usually the Pittsburgh Steelers really like their backup wide receivers to be on special teams, but I guess he is more going to be an actual offensive weapon and not a special teams guy. Maybe the Steelers do put him out on special teams, try him out there, because we all know they really like doing that. But as of right now, outside, inside, either or is what he could play. I expect him to be more of an inside wide receiver, kind of switching in and out with Terrell Austin. I expect the Steelers to go out and sign another outside receiver, or at least draft one, or even have Terrell Austin outside. But him, I expect him to be on the inside if I were to guess. So Van Jefferson, hopefully he does make the team. He could provide some value to this team based off his production in this league and just his hype that he had coming out of college. Hopefully he lives up to that hype now that he's on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And with that hype I'm talking about is a second round pick not too many years ago, back in 2020. Now, moving over to the second topic of the video, like I said, Montravius Adams also re-signed for the Steelers. And like I said at the beginning of the video, he isn't a superstar on this defense, but he's a really solid signing because the Steelers, they lost Armand Watts in free agency and their inside defense lineman, they need some help there. So as long as he can stay healthy, he's going to have a role on this team as a run stuffer and someone in rotation with Cameron Heyward. Cameron Heyward has continued getting older and older, and he's missed a lot of time last season. So if he does miss some time this season, they're going to need those rotationary pieces, and Montravius Adams is a good re-sign for that role. Once again, just like I said for wide receiver, this move won't stop them from adding another wide receiver. Inside defense line, signing Montravius Adams, I believe, won't stop the Steelers from going out and either looking at a new guy in free agency, adding to the defense line, or even the draft in the early rounds, maybe the 4th round pick, 3rd round pick, or whatever, going out and getting another inside defense line. You could really never get enough defense linemen, especially with how fast-paced the game is now and teams doing more no huddle. People get tired and you have to rotate guys in, so you need more defense linemen. Just look at the Eagles. They have a ton of defense linemen, and that's always worked out good for them. And Andy Weidl, we all know that's a special team. Offense line, defense line. So this move shouldn't stop the Steelers from going out and adding another defense lineman very, very soon, whether that's the draft or in free agency. But the Pittsburgh Steelers, these signings, it's not official what their cap space or cap hit is going to be on this team, how much they're going to make, but I really don't expect the Van Jefferson signing to be more than $3 million. It may be even less than that. Or even the Montravius Adams one. Maybe Montravius Adams is around $4 million. I would guess so. But I don't expect it to be a big cap hit for this roster, for the Steelers, to limit them from going out and making other signings. So don't expect it to be a big signing move in terms of money or production, but it's a really solid way to fill in holes that the Steelers had on their team in terms of depth. And with that being said, that's the end of this video. Let me know your thoughts down below on this topic about the Steelers re-signing Montravius Adams. Do you like that, or do you believe they should have went somewhere else and got a different defense lineman? And also, how do you feel about Van Jefferson signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers? Do you think he'll be lined up in the slot or on the outside more for this team? And do you like what he could bring to this roster, or do you believe that there's other wide receivers out there that you want? And list them down in the comments below if you want them to sign someone else or draft a guy. Also, like I said at the beginning of this video, make sure you turn those notifications down below. Click that bell down below so you never miss out whenever breaking news like this happens and the Steelers sign someone new. I do introductions to every new player or every player we bring back, so stay tuned and hopefully a new video drops very soon on someone else signing. It doesn't matter what time of the day. It seems like Omar Khan, he's working all hours trying to make this team better. So until next time, hopefully very soon, I'll see you guys all later. I'm out. Peace.